You're listening to Voices Beyond Time, where the echoes of history speak again, one story at a time. Before we begin, a brief note. The symbols of courage and unity still speak long after the voices of war have gone silent. In the description, you'll find two pieces that capture that spirit. A 75th Anniversary Iwo Jima Sculpture, honoring the moment American soldiers raised the flag at Mount Suribachi, and a United We Win poster, a reminder that strength and freedom are built together, not alone. Every purchase helps support this channel and keeps these stories alive. It didn't begin with violence. It began with words. Simple, deliberate words that promised belonging, pride, and a future that felt certain again. A people who felt unseen finally felt chosen. A generation weary of confusion finally heard a single, confident voice telling them what was true. They didn't realize that comfort can be dangerous. That certainty, when too absolute, can become a chain. The voice didn't threaten, it reassured. It didn't shout, it promised. And that is how power walks in unnoticed. Every generation hears such a voice. It comes when times are fragile, when people feel their world slipping away. It speaks to the human hunger for direction, for meaning, for control. It tells you that you're part of something larger than yourself. It offers clarity when everything else feels uncertain. But clarity without question is not truth. It's control disguised as comfort. Power often begins as an invitation. It doesn't storm the gates. It asks to be welcomed in. It dresses itself in reason, drapes itself in hope. And soon, people stop noticing the difference between trust and surrender. When the voice of authority speaks long enough, it starts to sound like your own thoughts. It began with the radio, with speeches that made broken promises sound like hymns, with the calm, deliberate tone of someone who seemed to understand the pain of the people. And a weary nation listened. They wanted to believe that their suffering meant something, that obedience would heal the wounds that pride could not. One word at a time, the space for disagreement shrank. One law at a time, conscience gave way to conformity. Neighbors stopped speaking freely. Teachers hesitated before they taught. Journalists stopped writing what they saw. And in that silence, power grew fat and confident. The voice became a storm. It filled classrooms and churches, songs and prayers, until individual voices faded beneath the roar of unity. The people spoke in unison, each convinced they still chose their words freely. The radio became the heartbeat of a new order, its rhythm steady, its message familiar. And the more it repeated, the truer it seemed. The voice of power feeds on fear, but it thrives on trust. It promises safety from chaos, while quietly feeding the chaos itself. It builds enemies from shadows and teaches that loyalty is proven through obedience. It simplifies the world into us and them. And when that division hardens, it's no longer possible to remember where the line began. But even in the loudest moments of history, there are always those who hear differently. A whisper of doubt, a flicker of conscience. A teacher who still tells the truth. A neighbor who still hides a friend. A voice that trembles, but still speaks. They are rarely remembered by name, but without them, every age would fall completely silent. Power burns bright, but never forever. It consumes its believers and betrays its disciples. When the noise collapses, when the symbols fade, all that remains is the question it tried to bury. How did we let this happen? The monuments crumble, the crowds disperse, the leaders vanish, and yet the same patterns remain. Waiting for new words, new slogans, new faces to repeat the same mistakes. This story isn't about one nation or one man. It's about us, all of us. Because the voice of power never dies. It only changes frequency. It learns new languages, adopts new technologies, and hides behind new faces. It speaks now through screens and slogans, through certainty sold as truth, through outrage dressed as righteousness. It tells you who to fear, what to believe, and who deserves your silence. If you listen without questioning, you'll hear the same rhythm repeating, steady, persuasive, inevitable. But if you pause, even for a moment, you might hear another sound beneath it, the quiet resistance of thought. It's not loud, it never is. It begins as a whisper, a question asked at the wrong time, a refusal to nod along, a small, steady voice that says, "No, I will not echo." That is where freedom begins, not in the shouting, but in the silence that power fears most, the silence of a mind still thinking for itself. This has been Voices Beyond Time, where the past reminds us what still matters. If this story moved you, consider subscribing and exploring more voices that shaped our world.